Buying your home can be really scary, especially if it's for your first time. Last thing you want to do is buy this property and 3-4 months later have regret. It costs a lot of money. Well, it doesn't have to be this way. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's no perfect neighborhood out there in Ottawa. A lot of excellent neighborhoods that likely checkbox a lot of haves and wants that you need, but you're never gonna find the absolute perfect property. But I'm gonna share with you the 3 things that I recommend as a first-time home buyer that you keep in mind when you're looking to venture out and buy your first home. And be sure to stay to the end of the video when I share with you 2 most recent first-time home buyers who bought a property. I'm gonna explain to you where they bought, what they paid, and what was really important to them when they made that decision to buy their first home.
liamswords.com.
If we haven't met, my name is Liam Swords. I've been a real estate agent for over 20 years, and I've helped over 1,000 people help them find their dream home. So the first parameter to consider as a first-time home buyer is lifestyle. And what that means is, are you more drawn towards suburbia or more urban lifestyle? Suburbia would be areas like Canada, Stittsville, Barrhaven, Riverside South, Finley Creek, and then all the way out into Orleans. Or are you looking more for an urban feel, like Centertown, Glebe, Westboro, Hintonburg, New Edinburgh? These are pockets that offer more urban style of living. Another component of lifestyle is transportation. Do you want to use public transportation, like the OC Transpo bus or the LRT? Or are you more car dependent? Are you playing a lot of sports or have a lot of recreational activities that require different times to be places? So deciding what is important for you from a transportation perspective. Another factor when considering lifestyle is the type of shopping you're going to do. Is it more big box stores where you like to shop, like say Walmart, Loblaws, Food Basics, or do you rather more of the boutique shops, like going to this certain bakery for your bread, or the butchery for your meat, or the cheese shop to buy your cheese? Is it more boutique style of shopping that you enjoy doing? This is factors into the lifestyle, which will then bring it down to help identify what area of Ottawa is most aligned with what you're looking for. And the last component with lifestyle is, what are you looking for from an environment perspective and a nature perspective? Do you like tree-lined streets, big mature parks, areas that have a lot of character? Well, if that's the case, then you're gonna be looking in more of these urban areas. But if you're more into the brand new property, not a lot of maintenance, then some of these newer subdivisions will align with that. So lifestyle is really an important characteristic as you're heading out as a first-time home buyer to identify where is the area that it makes most sense to you as a buyer. The second component would be what type of home and how does that fit in from a practical standpoint? So type of home could be, are you looking for property with very low maintenance? You don't want to have to worry about doing the grass, the snow, the windows, the roof. All of these can be all bundled into a condominium. Or if you rather have the independence and autonomy to maintain and look after a property and not be stuck with these condo fees, then you're leaning more towards freehold. So condominium or freehold out of the gate would be one of the first things you need to identify as a first-time home buyer. Then you break it down to, how many bedrooms do you need? How many bathrooms do you need? Do you need a finished basement or not? So these are some really sort of high-level type of property questions that you'll want to go through. Then we lean into more of the practicality side. So what do I mean by practicality is, these are some things that get missed sometimes when a buyer gets so excited, they just want to, fall in love with the property and they're not thinking long-term about the property. Remember at the beginning of the video I said, you do not want to regret this decision. You don't want to think in 3 or 4 months later like, oh man, gee, I should not have bought this property. Well, examples of that are say the parking. This can really add up to a lot of frustration. I hear it time to time from buyers and then turning into sellers. When I go and meet with them, I said, why are we selling? This property seems perfect. And sometimes it comes down to these little practicality misses that as a first-time home buyer, if they would have thought of that, like, okay, the property has the location we want, it's the style we want, it's in the area you want, but from a practicality standpoint, what's gonna happen with the parking? How are we gonna do this? So, an easy example is, think about what life's gonna be like in say 3, 4, 6 months from now when you're living in there, when the honeymoon phase is over. What are the things that might come up? And an example would be parking. Like how are you gonna park the cars? If it's just a single lane, it's front to back. If there's tandem, then it doesn't matter when, a partner or a family member comes home because they can park right beside. Or is there street parking? That's another consideration to think about. Another area of the practicality standpoint when you're buying a property is the actual location of the property and how it's affected by major events. Example, if you're buying in Canada, Stittsville, Bell's Corners, anywhere west of Ottawa, there is the Canadian Tire Centre. That's where the Ottawa Senators, our national hockey league team, plays, and they have, 42 games a year, plus concert, plus events. There's probably 70 to 80 nights a year that there's an event taking place there. That's like 1 in every 4 or 5 nights. That 417, so heading west, is going to be clogged up with traffic. This is something that maybe as a buyer, you haven't really thought of from a practicality standpoint. And then you're in the property, you love the home, but you're just uncomfortable with some aspects of where the property is actually located because of this whole commute situation. So really important, a major consideration for first-time home buyers is, yes, you have to fall in love with the property, 100%. We're not buying bananas at Farm Boy. We're buying a house. You have to be behind it and committed. But lean into what does life look like in 6, 9, 12 months from now when you're there? What are some things that may be deal breakers or considerations that if you were to do it again, would you have made this move? So make sure you consider the practicality standpoint when you're buying a property. Number 3, price. Obviously the biggest. Some of you might have thought I would have led with price, but obviously you have to know what you can shop with. So, before you go shopping, you know what roughly your budget is. Buying a house is no different. So getting a pre-approval from one of the big 5 banks or a mortgage broker is by far a necessity when you're buying a property. So, because you could be wasting time where you just fell in love with, say, the Glebe. And Glebe's beautiful spot, don't get me wrong, but the average price point was $1.234 million. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a first-time home buyer, my first property was not 1.2 million. I think it was like 387,000 or something. I'm gonna share with you at the end of this video 2 case studies of some recent first-time home buyers that I helped buy, and I think those ranges were between the 400,000 and 500,000. So most first-time home buyers are not buying $1.234 million properties. So the point to this is make sure you know where you stand financially and what you can afford. Now, let's hop into 2 live case studies. So 2 recent first-time home buyers that I helped right here in Ottawa buy property. So what I'm gonna share with you is I'm gonna break down these 2 properties. I'm gonna share with you where the properties were located. I'm gonna share with you what they paid for the property. I'm then gonna take you through their buying process. So what was important to them as first-time home buyers as they were making their decision. All right, so this property here was recently sold to first-time home buyer of mine. It's a semi-detached, so this is the property. Right here, you'll see it has a single car garage and a fully interlocked lane on the side. And this was critical for my client because he didn't want to have to jockey the cars back and forth. As I mentioned, these are things to consider when you're buying a property, especially as a first-time home buyer, that sometimes you might forget where, if you just have the 1 parking space here and you have 2 cars like this client did, he would have had to play Tetris back and forth with the cars. So let's hop into some of the details. I'm just going to shrink me down a little bit, be a little bit smaller. So this is the property here on Barwell Avenue. List price was $599,900 and he paid $578,000. So this is the price here. It's sold in 2024. Type of property, It was a 3-bedroom right here, total of 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, conveniently located. And that was really important for the clients. You know, obviously price point wise, he was pre-approved for $600,000 and we were able to get it for $578,000. I'm just going to pull you right in here to the map view to be able to give you a sense of where it is. So this is the property here, close to transit. You'll see right here, Transitway right here, easy walk over. Bay Shore's right here. There's a Walmart right in here. The Britannia Beach is all right here, so very close access. LRT is right in here. So this was a really strategic play and decision on where these first-time home buyers bought. And I'm just going to zoom right out. So here's Ottawa. This is where the property is. So not right in the core, and that's where the value, he was able to get this for $578,000. 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, semi-detached property, close to transit, LRT, shopping. Walmart is very close by. It's right here, as I mentioned. It's just a walk. It's like a 5-minute walk. Across the highway right here, there's Iris and there's IKEA right in here. So great proximity to retail, shopping, transit. And as I say, the price point on that property, $578,000. I'm just going to hop in here, show you some of the photos. So this was the exterior, interior. Nice kitchen, stainless steel appliances. Upstairs bedroom. And then this is the main floor when you come in. So there's a bathroom there, and then it's a walkout, which is excellent. This particular first-time home buyer has a young family, so being able to have his child outside, his and her child outside, is wonderful in that sense. And then a deck off the top. So $578,000 for this first-time home buyer. Location was key. And again, one of the big things was this whole parking situation. So he doesn't have to play Tetris with the cars. He can put one car here, and then his partner's car can go directly right here. All right, so the second property that I want to share with you was a set of first-time home buyers who bought at 28 Woodvale Green in Ottawa. So this is just off Center Point area, just off of Woodruff. I'm going to get into the map view to give you a sense of specifically where it is. So this is the location here. Proximity to Ottawa. That's where Ottawa is. So I'll just do excuse me, a bit of drawing. So to get into Ottawa, just like that, this road down here is Hunt Club, easy access. Ottawa Airport's right here, 416's right here. Ottawa River is all around here. So great location in terms of being able to get around. From a transit perspective, which was really important to these clients being first-time home buyers and just having the one car, having access to major routes like Woodruff, which is right here, the LRT, so the light rail transit in Ottawa, is going to come right into Center Point, so right around this area here. So it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for these set of buyers to be able to access the public transit. Now let's hop into more specifically of the property itself. So this was a condominium, and as first-time home buyers, it's important to really understand specifically what type of property you want. So for these buyers, they wanted a condominium in that they don't have to look after a lot of the upkeep and regular maintenance that you would in a freehold property. Not to say that you don't pay for it, you do, but in the condominium it's lumped in. So the condo fee on this was $498 a month. That looks after the roof, the windows, all of the ground maintenance. So the grass, the snow, the parking, like all of that is looked after by this monthly fee. And this was important to these first-time home buyers where they wanted to get out of the rental rat race. but they weren't comfortable getting into completely freehold. So the condominium allowed for them to do that. The price on this property, so the original list price was $355,900. These particular buyers were in a multiple offer, meaning more than one offer was submitted. I think there was about 5 or 6 offers. They were successful and they paid $360,000 for this property. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. I'm gonna hop right in here to the photos so you can see. So you go in, a few stairs up, great sort of living room area here. They're using it as a den, office, and then dining room, and then galley kitchen. And then upstairs, the bedrooms, full bathroom here, and then basement area in that sense. So great property, good access to transportation. There's a lot of shopping around as well. That was important to these first-time home buyers. So hopefully you found that helpful. Well, folks, that wraps up my top tips for buying a home as a first-time home buyer right here in Ottawa. It can be risky, it can be scary, but rest assured with the proper effort put in from the beginning, knowing your lifestyle choices, the type of property, practicality, and what you can afford are 3 of the biggest avenues and areas you can spend time with to make sure you're not going to sit back in 3, 6, or 12 months and regret that decision. I want to thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.